Hello guys, my name is Michael, and today we are going to talk again about GtkEditable. In the last tutorial we are learning some functions, and we saw how we can use them and so on, and I think today is time to move on to something new, which means today we are going to talk about the editable signals, which there are three: the change it, the delete text, and the insert text. The insert text you already saw it in one of my last videos. You saw how I was using it, and I showed you just simple way to use it, because I didn't work with its parameters the way maybe you should work with. So basically today we are going to change these things, and of course we are going to start with change signal. Let's see what the manual said. So GtkEditable. That was fast. Okay, so GtkEditable, already talk about it. There are a lot of functions, but what we are interested today, it is only about signals. So let's see. This means this function takes or has only three signals, which you can apply them, or at least they are provided here. So the first one is the change signal. The change signal says the change signal is emitted at the end of a single user invisible operation on the content of the GtkEditable. You are free to read its all documentation. Anyway, this signal says that needs a callback function which returns void, so it's not an event, returns void, and takes two parameters. The first one is the editable, and the second one is our pointer. Okay, our G pointer. Okay, so that being said, we need to create a signal for this. So let me copy this and throw it right here. Okay, so the signal will be the change it for our entry, of course, entry, and let's say change callback. Okay, so we need to create this function. How the manual said, this function returns void and takes two parameters. Void change it. We are not going to use two parameters, we are going to use only one. So this is the GtkEditable. And now let's create a function. And of course we don't need to work with editable right now, so this means we are going to cast it to void, to silence our compiler. You already know that. Why I'm doing, I explain you in my old videos. Okay, so now basically we're going to print something. So we are going to say the text was changed. That's it. So simple it is. We don't need to make something very special. So we create the callback function, which takes two parameters, in our case only one, because we are swapping. We are not using gsignal connect, we are using gsignal connect swap, because we don't use its parameters at all. So if I call gsignal connect instead, as you can as you know already, I need to pass the second parameter, and once that I pass it, I need to cast it the second one. But because I'm not using now any of them, gsignal connect swap is the best what I need. So let's see. I will compile and run the program now, and the program it's here. And now watch, when I type something, you see the text is changed. When I delete something, the text is changed, because that's a changing of the text. If I use past, I mean Control V, you see it's there, and if I use now Control X, it seems to be works fine. So basically this means this is the way how change it signal works. Okay, let's move on to the next signal. The next signal is delete text, and delete text says this signal is emitted when text is deleted. deleted from the widget by the user. The default handler for this signal will normally be responsible for deleting the text. So by connecting to this signal and stop ping the signal with GSignal stop emission. Okay, we are not going to do that now, but what we are going to do now, it is just that we are going to use this function. So this delete text says needs a void function and returns void and takes 4 parameters. The first one is our editable, the second one is the start position where we start to deleting, the last one is the end position where we end the delete when we end when we stop deleting, and the last is the user data, of course. Okay, so that being said, let's create let's call the GSignal swap before on this signal. Sorry. And now we are going to create a delete text callback. This we don't need it anymore, so I'm going to copy this part here. I don't want to type it again. Let's copy the name and throw it here. And says the first one is our editable, the second one is start position. Okay, so this is basically the second one. And the next one, it is the end position, as you already seen it here. And the last one will be the G pointer, but we are not going to use this G pointer, so I will just copy this part here. Now what we can do, we can silence the there are too many things here. We are going to silence the editable, and now because we silence, let's say G print, and then the text was deleted. Let's say from position let's say start position to the end position. This should be more than enough. Okay, so we need the first one, start position, and the second one, end position. So remember, this is the delete text. Okay, so we just created a delete text callback here, and this callback function will be called once that the delete text signal will be catched on our entry. Okay, let's compile it and run it and see what happens. I will type something now. I try to delete, and says the text was deleted from the position 4 to 5. This means if I delete now the S from here, it should be the text was deleted from, what do you guess? Let's see if you're right. From 1 to 2, of course, because it was the first one. So basically this is how you work with this signal. And of course, if I delete now, will be 0, 2, 3. Yes. So basically, because I delete all those 3 characters. So that's it. This is the way how delete text callback function works, and this is when you need to catch it, how you need to catch it. Now let's move on to the last signal, the insert text signal, which is already, it should be already not new for you, because I already said, and I will say it again, we already used this signal, but not in the way how is here provided. See, there are so many parameters here. So let's see what's the story with this parameter. I mean, at least what's the story with these 3. But before this, let's see what this signal does. It says this signal is emitted when the text is inserted into the widget by the user. So the default handler for this signal will normally be responsible for inserting the text. So by connecting to this signal and then stopping the signal with GSignal stop emission, it is possible to modify the insert text or prevent it from being inserted entirely. Okay, we're not going to talk now because this is another story, and it's another object for future tutorial. Okay, so we know what is, we know how the function looks like, and the returns void. Let's see its parameters. And the first one says it's our edit table. We already know that. The second one is the new text. So this is the new text because we are inserting something. The next one is the new text length. So this is the length of the text which we are passing. Says the length of the new text in byte, or -1 if new text is null terminated. So this means we can pass here -1 if it's null terminated, whatever. And next one says the position in characters at which to insert the new text. This is an in-out parameter, so after the signal emission is finished, it should point after the newly inserted text. Okay, let's see what this means and how we can use it. So this means we are going now to create this signal. Okay, let's go to our edit. Okay, now we don't need delete text anymore. Now we are going to work with insert text callback. So I'm going to copy again this part here and throw it here, and then I will copy the name of the callback function and I'm going to put it here. And now let's go back. Said one was the one is the gchar new text. So gchar new text is the first one. The next one is gin new text length. So let's call this part here and change it. Too many G here. And then next one is the G pointer position. Okay, so G pointer position. Once that we have it, we can set it here too. So now we are not going to use the edit table again because we don't need it. It is not important for us now. So let's change this to, let's say, the inserted text is okay, which looks fine now. So our inserted text will be the new text. And then let's create another, let's call the gprint again just to be more clear. So I will say this time the inserted text length is new text length. So we got the next one. Let's put this a little bit together somehow. New text length. And the last one is the G pointer position. Okay, let's call it here G pointer. G print. The position is, and then let's put it also here, and we will print its position. And by doing this, we need the position, of course, and now we need to cast the position to int pointer, and then we need to difference it so that we can get the int. Okay, let's see if everything is fine. So we are casting the edit table because we don't need it. We silence it to void. We cast it, and then we take the G pointer and then we cast G pointer to int, and after that we are differences so that we can use to print the integer which we can find there. And the next thing, the new text here is the text which we are inserting, and of course the last one will be the inserted text length. So how exactly it will look like we will see in a moment. I think it's ugly, but whatever, let's see. Okay, here's the first problem. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the semicolon. So let's format it if now. So let's compile and run it again. And now I will try to insert something. So I will type just a letter and says the position is 0. Okay, this I forgot a new line character. So if I try to type hello, it will probably be ugly. Let's see what happens. Hello says the position is 0, inserted text is age, inserted text length is 1, the position is 1, the position is 2, the position is 3, the position is 4. So basically it works fine even if it's ugly. Anyway, you see things which you can catch, and from those things which you can catch, you know which part you need. You need the position, you need the text, you need its length. This means if, for example, now let's create a text, let's call it middle. Really? I don't want. Okay. And now I will copy this text here, the whole text here, and I will throw it to inside our entry. So let's say between those double L, and now watch, says the position is 3 because we put it here, 0, 1, 2, and then comes 3. So the position was 3. It's okay. The text inserted is middle, and the inserted text has 8 bytes, 8 characters. So this means it works fine. So basically this is the way how you work with GtkEditable signals, and those signals, those 3 signals which the editable has are it's very powerful to be used, and once that you know them and once that you understand them, then you can work with them and catch a lot of things which can happen when user types something in that entry field. Okay, so that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next upcoming tutorials. Be the first one to see them, and until then, see you guys.